Alright guys, this is Fluff, and today we are streaming live right now, but we're gonna make this into a VOD hopefully for YouTube since it's probably something people can learn from. This is a game where one of my viewers, Dota, sent in, and he said that he was playing against FNG, Demon, who's aka Ava, and TC, and he wanted me to look over the game and see uh, maybe critique a little bit about what he could have done better, just anything like that. I actually haven't even seen the game before, but let's just jump right in. Alright, so one of the first things that struck me about this replay is that, well, just looking at the pick screen here, it seems already to me that there's only one support on his team, so probably Fira will be like the hard 5 position, it seems. And already I've talked about that a little bit in my other videos, where I think that 2 support should be like very standard on the lanes, because it's very important that you can secure farm for your carry and not give the offlaners too much. And this is especially true in pubs, because if the offlaner gets so much, then he's going to pressure your carry. Eventually he might even tilt your team just from doing so well, because it's very easy to snowball from that position. When you aren't being zoned properly, you get full solo XP almost, and you're pretty much keeping pace with the enemy safe lane carry when you're in the offlane position. But anyway, that's not the point of this video. So, just looking at this already, I see the Venge. I know that Venge is not really the best 5 position support. There's a couple reasons for this, especially in pubs. Well, let's just never mind competitive scene, let's just talk about pubs, okay? In pubs, Venge has low armor, or not armor, she has low attack range. Her spells cost a pretty good amount of mana, but it's not terrible. But the stun is not great either. And if I'm already imagining now that you buy the core, you buy the obs, you buy the sentries even, and you pull tangos out, Venge has virtually no ability to zone most offlaners, besides the very weak ones, and that's a problem. But Venge, in her own right, is a great mid-game support, and an excellent late-game support. Alright, so let's go back here. Oops. So Fira, I don't know if you've seen my guide before, but already in the item build, I can probably critique you a little bit. Like I said in one of my videos, in the video about support method, I think this is in part 2, with the item build for the hard support, I would almost never buy both the sentries and the obs. In the video I actually suggested you buy the courier, you buy sentries, you buy 2 sets of tangos and 1 clarities to help you zone. This would help you much more in the lane. And the thing about this is that it kind of blackmails your team into picking up the obs themselves. Like, if there's no support in the game, like, then the offlaner will buy his own ward or just not have one. If there's another support in the game, it pretty much telegraphs that you bought a lot of shit, that they should contribute something as well. It's not your fault. You know, if you pull your tangos to the mid, you buy the chicken and you buy the sentries and you walk out to the lane, no one's gonna fault you for that. You just say, hey, I can't zone the lane without this. Can't you just purchase 75 gold item? So already you're at a deficit playing this lane, and yeah, I assume you give 2 tangos. So look at this. Alright, you have 2 tangos on one of the weakest solo zoning supports in the game. Because of her low damage, because of her okay average move speed, and because of the fact that you have 2 tangos, no regen at all for missile, for HP regen. Even like imagine if you blew 2 tangos here zoning the offlane, and you can't even pull anymore. Like, it's very disastrous. I would never recommend that. But you know, nonetheless, you did the thing that all supports do in these games. Gave the offlaners a ward, gave mid 2 tangos, and you're living the poverty life here. So
30 seconds to showtime.
I can already imagine what might happen.
And away we go.
You do a good job here of heading back when you know that the rune's secured, and you start blocking the lane. One thing that I should tell you about this Radiant safe lane is that these creeps move really fast, and a lot of times you don't have time to stop stop move. You should just keep running with it and try to block it as best as you can on the Radiant side.
The
But anyway,
Radiant's
that's just a small tip. Dire side, you don't need to care. It's very easy. It slows down much earlier. So you kind of lucked out here that there's the Earthshaker. Earthshaker is one of the weaker. Oh man, there's more to say. Okay, so Earthshaker is one of the weaker off lanes in the game because he's low armor. Typically, you don't build stout on him. He likes rush soul ring or get boots. Looks like this guy just went for a no regen build, and he even fissure blocks, so like his lane position's really good. I went back in time because I noticed that you put an ob down and then immediately a sentry. So the problem with that is that you didn't check the inventory of the Earthshaker, and like I said, this is all a chain reaction of what you did in the early game. So what I mentioned before in my video about zoning the offlaner is that you buy the courier, you buy the sentries, you pull the 2 tangles, and you run immediately. Why do you run immediately? You run immediately so that you can catch the offlaner here, that you can see exactly where he might have warded. You can see that if he's poking his head out here, and you can check his inventory, or you can see, like, let's say he walks out of the jungle like this way, then you can kind of guess he has some lower ward. If you see him peeking in here, he might have got one up here or something like that. Or if you see him in the river, then you can check like any of these spots, you know. So already a mistake, but you know it's a thing that happens a lot. And I don't know if it was a misclick, but no one would even ward there. Okay, this is good from you. You head back to pull the wave back. Earthshaker is one of those heroes that's, if he fissure blocks, like, you just have to pull it back because the lane will be all the way up, the creeps will be all the way up in his tower anyway, and he's gonna get the XP no matter what. So resetting the lane is good, and since you didn't make it in time, stacking is perfect. So here I'm assuming you just go ahead and reset the lane. That's good. Good stuff. Okay. So now you probably would have noticed that the Earthshaker doesn't have his ob anymore, and you had an ob in lane. So maybe something should tell you that he's gonna put it there. Yeah, this is a fine move, checking the rune. Good. Now it looks like the lane got pushed up again. In this position, I would just pull again. And something, maybe a little trick that I could teach you here is, on your way back up, what you can do when when you've just checked the rune and you're in this position, what you can do instead of running around like this or running around like this, is to just eat this tree right here, and then run straight down. Imagine if you ran straight down at that point, at 210 or 209, then you would actually have basically pulled it at 211, which is the time you should pull it. So you could have reset the wave right there by just knowing that little trick. Anyway, let's keep going. So now you have to wait another full minute to reset the wave. This is all you can do. I don't expect you to be in the lane either at this point. Should be looking to connect here. Good shit. Okay. And I'm guessing you upgrade the courier. Okay. Good. So now you're kind of like
Radiant's mid tower could use a hand.
wondering what you should do. You see that mid's in danger, but it's not your responsibility to stop him there. What you need to do in this position here is, your micro decision is to understand, like, you need to understand the purpose of what you're doing. So if you pulled the wave with the intention of resetting the creep's equilibrium so that the carry can form in a safer position and the offlaner can feel more threatened, plus you have more room to work with to go ahead and kill him, then resetting the wave there should have been perfect for you to just run over and be a threat to the shaker on the left side. So that you see the gyro was pinging at you. You should be here. And not only that, but by being here, when you run at the Earthshaker and you can understand how he's moving. Like, let's say that he's dodging you in a very specific manner, like that you kind of, where you can kind of guess that that he has a ward there, and since you can check his inventory, and you see that he doesn't have it, it would be a very safe bet for you to just go ahead and sentry that, and you would have got all that intel from them just one micro decision. So now, it seems that you're paying a lot of attention to the mid lane,
mid tower could use a little help.
but the problem is that your bottom lane needs you. You shouldn't leave this lane. He needs you to take the pressure off of him and also protect him, and make sure that his wave is in the right spot. So already, like, this positioning was just off by you. But it's good though that you make these mistakes, because if I can tell you how to fix it, then you'll learn. It's a nice wave over the top. Bloodseeker's in there. Good stun.
2 down.
Got your boots. Okay. Now in this moment, what am I thinking? If it was me, I would say, okay, I have a lot of HP. It doesn't affect me too much that I use my missile here. But so all I need to do is pick up a clarity from the base and ferry it out to myself, so I'm good to go. So let's see what you do. Also, I would consider buying out another observer. TC is experienced. Well, actually, I need to point out that this ward here, you should mention to your mid player that you want him to just place it around wherever they need it for the nighttime. Good. You bought a clarity and you bought an obs. That's good. Good play.
Radiant's top tower's hurting.
Again,
No breaking down the Radiant structures like this.
you should still be in position for your carry,
Radiant's top tower's in
and
bad shape.
he needs you to be there to secure his farm and protect him. But I see what you're doing. You wanna go put the ward. That's an okay play to make, but again, I would just say, hey mid, go place whatever you want to save myself some time. Like, it's okay to be greedy like that. They're not gonna really give a shit if you say something like that. What you should do here is just go ahead and plant the ward wherever. And I'm guessing TC's telling you to do this, or that maybe you know to do this, but I know TC would ask for this. Maybe he's telling you that he wants you to take the lane. I don't know. But overall, you're wasting a lot of time from not just planting the wards. Putting a sentry there is fine. Putting an ob there is fine. But you really need to go back to your carry as a support. Like, it's crucial to him that you protect him now. The second ward should be a ward where you can, like, see the enemy off lane rotations, like see if line comes down to gank the lane, or like TA grabs a rune or something. It can be like, it can be here or here or here, you know. I can't ping it here, like you can just pick any of those, just whatever you feel, pretty much. These wards should be dropped down right away, because it helps you understand like the position of the game. Anyway, so back in this position here, you might feel like you don't know what to do. Well, rule of thumb, if the lane's ever pushed up to this point, just pull it back. And well, there's another reason why the inefficiency is hurting you. So, like the fact that you didn't pull the wave when you had the chance here at the 7:15 means that this lane is constantly out of position. You see what I mentioned the lane equilibrium quite a bit, but it's very important that you understand where the position of the creeps are. Really changes the game for your carry, and it also, like, it reduces the amount of space that the offlaner can utilize with ganks or his own position, and it just protects your carry in general. I mean, if the wave was down here, you would have been much closer to him, and Lion could potentially go down to a gank or a counterplay of your own, or you know, maybe none of it would even have happened. Maybe they wouldn't have attempted it. So there you go. Now, getting levels is good.
Technical difficulties.
Personally, for the Wave of Terror versus Magic Missile, I like to put a bit more points into the Magic Missile, but that's just my own preference. I would put 2 or 3 more points into this for the burst damage and the extra stun duration, and then like go back into the wave. I think like wave, although it was like one of the best skills at the time, the cooldown going down to 20, or going up to 20, I mean rather, is a big deal. And the scaling of the missile is actually pretty important with the damage aspects anyway. So right now you're kind of, again, you're like, I think this is the root cause of your issues, is just not understanding like what's the importance of the lane positioning and how to affect it as a support. Again, you can just pull again, and I don't mean to be like redundant, but it's very important that you do so. And here you go again. This is literally like the 3rd time that a play happened because of where the creeps are. Not only that, but you still have the obs on you. So like I said, you know, however you feel, this ward, lane ward, anything like that would have really done a lot for your carry to see information like that. I know that was a smoke, but sometimes mids just go ahead and take the rune and right in front of your eyes, and words like that would just really stop these things. Okay. Well, these are all very optimistic. Knowing that I'm versus a TA, I'd probably go for the urn.
Dyer's top towers. You know that Radiant's bottom towers seen better days. Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now. Dyer's mid tower's having technical
Being mid is fine at this point in the game.
Somebody's 2 down.
Just keep going. You got your level 6. It's great.
Last much longer.
You smoke with TC and get a gank. Okay. But
Somebody's coming.
some of the problems with this I see is that, I mean, the play is fine, but again, you're not really paying attention to your carry. Like with 2 wards, he needs some sort of idea what's going on around him. And you don't need to make any like special movements or smoke ganks or anything like that. You just need to get him a nice ward, like when your first ones die, pretty much. The one that you placed initially wears out.
The Dire went and fortified. Radiant's top towers hurt. Radiant's toughened up their structures.
So,
Radiant's top towers
secondly,
in bad shape.
like I said, I would go for the urn, because the urn charges will like be very effective for your team. Like, it's one of the best support items. It gives you good HP, mana regen, and the effect is going to be really effective versus the TA. Not only that, but
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart.
on Radiant specifically, and it can be okay to do on Dire, but on Radiant specifically, I would say that your chances of doing Roshan are much lower than the chances that you do it on the Dire. Like, the Dire side is like, you're like, oh, okay, we can just sneak it, but people don't feel as confident on Radiant to do such a play, and I feel that you won't have a really good chance of organizing that unless one of your carriers like asks you to do it or like really wants to do it. But as a support, your influence on that's very low. So again, I would have went for the urn. And oh, I forgot why I even paused there. So let's just pretend that this is what we're looking at out right now. But when I paused right here, there was 2 smokes on you, and I noticed that you bought another one. So it seems like your focus is really like on the ganks. But like, you already had 1 smoke, and it's okay to carry smokes all the time. But like, you could have had your medallion completed for the 325 right at this very moment right now, without purchasing that second smoke. So maybe you're just being a little bit hasty. Like, maybe think more about what you're gonna complete. Okay, nice TP, avoiding everything.
Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom tower. Radiant's bottom tower's done for.
Good, you have your medallion. But again, like, this medallion's pretty ineffective. And again, I'm only watching from your
6 in a row.
your camera, mostly because this is about the support. Alright, so at this point, if I was you, and I'm saying that okay, I'm getting like our team's getting dominated right now, and that was a really good word by them to see you. That's very uncommon, but in a pub, especially. But like now that I'm in this position, if I were you, that they're like very dominant of the map, I would spend a lot of time thinking about where they potentially would have vision. So like, it wouldn't work this game, but I would definitely check this, and I would definitely check like around mid lane or right here, just because these are very common spots. Like people, when they dominate your jungle, after a couple ganks, they usually like to put it here. I would just try to counter as much vision as possible, and then like put wards up wherever I can to like help my team see where they are, like on our side of the map, and not so much on their side.
How about somebody's on a roll?
Okay.
Radiant's bottom
Just
tower
some random
ain't
shit
pretty.
here.
Radiant's gone and trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom tower. Radiant's down.
You guys get echoed down. Looks like this game's like snowballing pretty hard. 12k.
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart. Radiant's mid tower.
There might not be much more to this.
9 in a row.
Like,
think I lost 2
I think.
down.
Temple cannot protect itself.
No,
Well,
3
I'll go
down.
on my closing words in a bit.
Radiant's bottom. There go.
Just gonna keep watching.
Radiant's
Okay, you lost.
bottom rags.
All right, so
It's
closing
done.
thoughts. Early game's very important, and I hope you understand. Like, if you take away anything from this, like keeping the creep equilibrium safe for your carry, to the point where you're like forcing it down their throat, is
How about
the
that?
right thing to do. Like, let's say that your carry, like you keep resetting the wave and your carry just keeps pushing it out, or something happens, you know. Well, don't let that stop you. Just do it again, because you're doing him a massive favor, and he can't. If he can't like hold the wave properly, like you're still gonna be in a much better position that way. But let's say that you reset it and he could keep his lane in the correct spot, then you know no need to pull. Just go ahead and zone on the side. And it's very important that you're there with him. Secondly, just try to protect him more with your wards, and also be more like conscious of your early game build, like, and also the movement out into the lane, so you can scout the offlaner, click on his items, see if he has a ward, see how he walked into your lane, see how he reacts to you when you walk towards him, like test him, so you can make plays by, you can be in different spots if he doesn't know where you are, but if he has a ward on the side and he knows that you're just not there at all, he's gonna play like way more confidently than he would if you actually had just countered it at that point. So like sometimes, and this happens to me a lot, is that when sometimes you can play a perfect support game and you can still lose, but you definitely want to do you definitely want to do everything that you can, even if your carry is not really helping you out. You want to control the lane, you want to get the vision up, and you want to be effective for the counter plays and zoning the offlaner. So that's pretty much it. Just focus on your own game. Focus on keeping tabs on your carry at all times and where the lane is. That's pretty much it for this replay. Alright. Thanks guys. Just to close out the video, we don't need this for the stream, but to close out the video, follow my stream, twitch.tv/FLUFFDota. Follow my Twitter, same URL, and yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Alright.